again.
I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth.
And we are Steel Magnolias.
Two sisters who love family, traditions, and all things Southern.
We've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair.
Hello, Lainey.
Hi, Laura Beth.
It is a holiday week. Happy Memorial Day week to you.
Yes.
Many people had a shortened work week this week, probably. Maybe they got away for a long weekend. Who knows?
I know I was in a lot of traffic in Nashville on Friday. So
oh, yeah.
It looked like a lot of people were going both directions.
I bet. Well, we are festively sitting here with a little concoction. Tell us about this.
Well, it's stinking hot out there, y'all. So I had to go with something really cold.
Yes.
And so we are having spiked watermelon.
All right.
And it's literally like watermelon puree with some vodka in it.
Yes.
And it's nice and cold.
Yes.
So.
I saw someone on our Instagram that was mentioning that they were going to be poolside with some spiked watermelon.
Is that right? Okay.
When I was thinking about that, when they mentioned it, I wondered, do most people like cube their watermelon, soak it in vodka, and eat it like that? Or do you think most people would puree it?
I think you can do either,
yeah.
But I've seen both.
Yeah.
And I actually was reading an article in a magazine this weekend, I don't even remember which magazine it was, that was talking about pacing yourself if you were at something that was hot and you're having alcohol, like the importance of pacing yourself. And it had that, where you could have the cubes of watermelon that had a little bit of alcohol in it as, just an...
That must have been Southern Living, because I read that this week, too. Yeah, and I don't have Garden and Gun like you do.
And those were the two I was looking at this weekend, so.
Well, if you're not on our Facebook page, we actually showed the contraption that Lainey punctured her watermelon with in order to extract the juice. It was a Bed Bath & Beyond.
Not that you need to have that to spike watermelon.
Oh,
but to have the look in the watermelon, you would need something like that. And it didn't work that great. So
So the idea is to make the watermelon itself look like the drink dispenser.
Exactly.
And then there's this
it has the spout coming out of it.
Yeah. It looks
cute,
cool.
But it didn't work great. So I don't know if my puree is not fine enough.
Yeah.
Or if that thing just doesn't work that great. But I can't plug it. Sorry.
It tastes good. Yeah, really. Yeah.
I can't plug said product.
# not a plug. Good attempt, but and it looks
a bit of a fail, but it's cute.
But when it comes to functionality, probably a D on that.
I'd say so. Yes.
Well, I'm sitting here in a dress that I purchased a long time ago. We're talking Southern fashion. Do you remember where I got this dress from? I didn't know if you would or not.
Was it unclaimed baggage?
Unclaimed baggage.
I just had said you look so pretty today.
So if you didn't get a chance to listen to episode number 6 on the podcast, where we talked about the unclaimed baggage store in Alabama, you need to go back and listen to that.
That dress is adorable.
I thought of it today when I got dressed. You never know what you're going to find. I know. It's massive and an adventure waiting to happen.
Do you remember I found one of those Miracle Suit bathing suits with the tag on it? I mean, they're over $100. I mean, well, almost every bathing suit's over $100 now. It was really an expensive bathing suit and it still had the tag on it. So it never made it to somebody's vacation, and I was certainly grateful.
There you go. I know. I always feel a little guilty that I'm wearing someone else's dress, but I'm like, they
hopefully
I paid for it. I didn't just take it.
That's right.
But B, they did not claim it within the time period. Anyway, go back and listen to episode 6 if you want to hear more on.
You never know what you're going to find.
Unclaimed baggage. Okay, well, today we're talking Southern fashion and jewelry. This was actually a listener-requested topic. And so, we're going to
That's going to be fun. And men and women is what I was planning on talking.
I took some notes down to discuss both the
for our dudes,
the gentlemen and the ladies.
Or people that shop for their man.
That's true. But ladies first. Let's start with the ladies. Tell me, do you have just like some adjectives that come to mind when you think of Southern fashion for women?
I just think it's funny because what I said about this drink that we're having, it's hot in the South. So I think that shapes a lot of our fashion.
That's a good point.
Don't you think? The fabrics, It has a lot to do with, so when I think female fashion in the South,
Yeah.
I think sundresses.
Yep.
Gingham.
Yep. I had gingham down. I also had plaids down.
Okay.
Which is going to be more fall winter, but no, that's not true.
Well, I don't want to say too much. Like, we'll just take things one at a time and chat on it. But
Yeah.
That's the kinds of things I think of.
Okay. Material-wise, like you were saying, in this time of year, you're going to see a ton of linen.
Mm-hmm.
I think of that eyelet.
Eyelet. I have eyelet
lace.
written down. Yes.
Yeah. Like you were saying, sundresses, but even in that category, like an eyelet dress,
or
is
blouse.
very Southern to me. Those usually, I guess, would be a solid color. I see a lot of whites, navies.
Yes. J. Jill has a real pretty, some eyelet white tops right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So very preppy. Preppy would be...
Preppy is a word I wrote down. I don't know if that was big everywhere, in fashion, but that's still big.
And I think that's our English and Scottish influence.
Probably.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that I don't know, preparatory sort of look, I feel like.
Well, and I
plaids.
think of golf courses and boating too. When I think of that, and we do have that a lot in the South. So
even with dresses, which I guess most sundresses are this, but I would say tailored also. Like a tailored dress is very Southern to me. And
that's one thing I wanted to mention about men's clothes that I love.
Yes.
Is when a man's shirt fits right.
Yeah.
I like tailored clothes.
Yes.
So if a man has a shirt on that's a tailored shirt, that is nice.
Which, of course, are more expensive. But what I have found is the pieces that I went ahead and paid more for, I'm still wearing 15 years later.
Right.
Like,
hold up.
That was worth the extra
whatever.
Double amount or whatever, triple amount even, that I would have,
on
that I wanted
something
to pay.
Trendy that you wore for $3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that.
So I think, for me, Banana Republic does that very well. Now, that's not a Southern chain, but I think that they do a lot of
tailored
clothing well. And then you turned me on to a catalog that's British called Boden, B-O-D-E-N. I think they do some great tailored clothing. Actually, I say tailored. I don't know if it's tailored or if it just fits well.
Yeah.
Like, there is kind of a difference there.
I think Charter Club does tailored well. Well, there's other things that come to my mind with men's clothes.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So, like one other...
Brooks Brothers has men and women's clothes. I mean, they're expensive.
Well,
very
it's
beautiful.
funny you mentioned that. I just got a compliment on a blouse that is a Brooks Brothers blouse last weekend that I wore to church. And I was thinking back and I was like, I think this is 12 years old.
And nobody could tell.
I paid probably double the amount that I wanted to, or that I thought I should be spending on a blouse at the time.
But 12 years later,
it's still styling and still in great shape.
Yeah.
So,
I like their stuff. Yeah. So, and one thing I wanted to mention that I thought was interesting, when I think about Southern fashion, like two things came in my mind that I just wanted to mention too.
Yeah.
I think people nationwide would go overalls. That was a farming thing.
That's true.
I don't see people in overalls.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, you might.
Okay, that's kind of funny you said that because...
You did yesterday.
Just yesterday. But he was an older man. He was a farmer. But it was so precious.
It's precious. And it's very practical for them to, have on something hardy like that.
Yeah.
And it also got me thinking, is it a nationwide thing or just a Southern thing? The Carhartt clothes that a lot of men love. Because they're hardy.
Yeah.
For people who are, in different kinds of jobs where they need, like,
they just need that tough material for protection.
And our dad loves it for, like, he used to ride a motorcycle and stuff.
Yeah,
so
and
Carhartt was great
for,
that kind of thing.
That would probably go up north
But I would think that would be probably everywhere.
Yeah. Well, being in Nashville, everyone, or at least used to think we were just, not just overalls here, but cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I think cowboy boots are...
I think that's even more Texas.
But I would say what you could do is just say boots in general.
Yes.
could be a Southern fashion piece, like a good pair of boots, whether they be cowboy style or a riding style.
I think there's a lot of, I was going to mention, I think there's a lot of equestrian influence in some clothing too, not just in the South.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I love that look.
You passed on some cowboy boots
that
to
I
me
loved.
That were
Guess.
I still love pulling those out every once in a while. Just some just above the ankle brown cowboy boots.
Yeah, I loved those.
And
I got those when I worked at Lord & Taylor. Like, that was kind of a fun
splurge
purchase. But and the other thing that I think people think of with like the stereotypical South is, look at that girl with the Daisy Dukes on.
Oh my gosh. So
Catherine Bach as Daisy Duke with her red
shorts.
tied up
flannel shirt
and her
plaid shirt.
Short shorts.
So short shorts then are just basic shorts now. Right? I mean, that length is ridiculous, but that's kind of what I see in storefront
now. I mean, most people seem to wear now. So, yeah, that is, I think, just a stereotypical thing.
Well, let's talk about Texas for a second, because Texas is Southern.
It's its own beast.
But it gets its own chat time here, at least for the Southern fashion segment.
So do you remember us going to a funeral in Texas, and there were many cowboy hats and huge belt buckles?
I forgot about that.
Like, I was floored how manly and big those statements were. And that funeral was in
Forney? No.
Yes, but, well, I was thinking July or August. I was trying to remember what month it was.
No, it was later than
August, September.
Yeah.
It was September.
It was September.
It was September. I'm sorry, I forgot that. It was September, and it was hot.
Yes, it was so hot.
And they were, in
sporting
their
it all.
Jeans and big belt buckles.
Well, I've never argued with the statement that everything's bigger in Texas, because it's true. It's absolutely true. I think...
and speaking of bigger
fashion, like bigger accessory statements, like the belt buckle, also translates to the ladies as well. Bigger bling.
Yeah. Though Alabama does big bling too. The women.
True.
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them. But.
Or just more. Maybe not even bigger in size per piece, but I just imagine
more.
A lot of
statement
jewelry happenings. And I want to make the point that a lot of it looks very beautiful. Like, it can look very tasteful, even if it's a lot. I've seen a lot of beautifully dressed Texas women.
Yeah.
Sue, that I used to work with, used to do Texas fashion wonderfully. She always had lots of layers and lots of textures.
And she had such great hair, too.
So she always had different elements going on in that regard. Suede was always a part of her outfit, and or leather, or suede and leather. Like, she would put those things together. She would, she had a lot of denim. She had a denim jacket. She would work into...
But layering kinds of pieces.
But always layered. Yeah. I mean, unless it was like...
And you can get so creative
deep
with that.
Summer. Yeah. I don't know what else I would say about Texas, except they just have their own fashion.
Yeah.
And
don't mess with Texas.
It is bigger.
They got their thing, and they've mastered it, so...
Yeah. What about monograms? We've got to mention monograms.
Oh, Lord, yes. So that's huge in the South.
Yeah.
But not in my closet or house.
Well,
partially for a funny reason. So monograms are typically your first name letter, then your last name letter, a little bit larger, then your middle name letter.
Which feels out of order, but that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Or your first name letter, married name letter, maiden name letter.
Yes.
That's typically how you would see it.
Yeah.
So my monogram is LSD.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Not ideal. Yeah.
Mom didn't think of that monogramming thing when she named me.
Yeah.
But so I've never been big on monograms.
Yeah.
But
Lainey Deanne doesn't work as a monogram.
Not until I get married.
Not until you. Yeah. Well, what made me think of monograms immediately after mentioning Texas in my notes was that I have a monogrammed clutch purse that's leather that I got as a wedding gift from my Texan friend.
Love it.
And that's the only thing I have monogrammed, but I love it. We didn't really go into...
So she did LPS.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't plan today to talk about, like, children's fashion, but since on monograms, children...
we could go into some children's things.
Everything monogrammed here. Every bonnet, every jumper, every romper.
Bedding.
Every, what are the bloomers?
Oh, yeah.
Right on the bottom.
Anything can be monogrammed. And one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the really large bows on little girls. Like a little headband's cute, but I'm talking like when it's a really big thing, to me it's distracting.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, so what else? One thing well, you go ahead. You got something.
Well, we've already mentioned gingham, linen, eyelet, monograms, sundresses, cowboy boots. Another thing I wrote down was, this came out of Palm Beach, Florida, which I don't think of as a Southern style, but the Lily Pulitzer kind of dresses with the bright colors and the floral patterns. I think that seems very Southern to me.
Absolutely. It's like quintessential beach wear.
Yeah.
So at some point, most Southern families have done a beach photo in something Lily Pulitzer. I mean, it just...
And I didn't write this down, but often in the same kinds of stores, they'll have that Vineyard Vines, which is T-shirt kind of stuff. I didn't write that down.
Well, no, so that's Martha's Vineyard. But it's really embraced in the South.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Those T-shirty, cutesy T-shirt things.
I had down Southern Marsh and Southern Tide.
Marsh,
Both of those are also...
brands that are
colorful pastels,
kind of coastal looking,
very coastal. Look great with some khaki shorts, especially on men. Like it's just great casual wear for sure.
Are we getting into men yet?
Well, one other thing I was going to two other things before we move on to the men. For some reason, maybe it's a movie or multiple movies that have lent this thinking. A crisp white shirt,
boyfriend shirt, I call
pressed shirt. Mm-hmm. Kind of,
collar kind of up.
I don't want to say a fully popped collar, but kind of up.
Yep.
And then like a silk scarf.
Yes. Like even maybe equestrian kind of scarf.
That for some reason is something I think of.
Yeah, I love a crisp white shirt.
Like a lot of times Diane Lane, when she's cast in films, Diane Keaton. She does that a lot.
She's very fashion forward.
Yeah. And also it seems like every female winery owner or bourbon distiller, like that also seems to be something within that spirits culture. World that like owners have that white nice crisp shirt and a nice silk scarf tied around their neck. The last thing I'll mention is just another ode to Still Magnolia's film. Now, Shelby had a signature color of pink that she mentions in the film. I do think a lot of women have their signature color. Yeah. I wondered if you have one that you consider your signature color.
I do, actually.
What is it?
I think I wear a lot of the teal and the green color a lot. I love that color.
Yeah. Because it brings out your eyes.
It brings out my eyes. I like that color. And I even, just as you were saying, signature, not that this is fashion, but I think I have a signature scent.
Yes.
And that came up yesterday. Somebody was like, I was at the Ulta and I was trying on a perfume and I'm like, this is Lainey.
Oh, how funny.
Like she didn't know what I wore, but then when she tried it on, she was like, this is Lainey. So I think some people have a signature scent.
That's part of fashion, isn't it? I hadn't thought about that.
And it kind of goes in that. Like I know this teenager that sometimes would borrow scarves and stuff from me and she would say, oh, it smells like you. And I don't smell it. Right. It's kind of in my closet.
Yeah. But. Yeah. You're kind of growing immune to it, I'm sure.
Funny,
yeah, signature scent.
Signature scent. And one other thing I was going to mention, again, this might be more nationwide, but a lot of preppy looking clothes. And I was thinking of the Madras Plaid.
What's that?
Just the patchwork
plaid.
Yeah. That was really big in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I've seen it again.
Yeah.
Just the Madras Plaid shorts, or you might see a little handbag that's Madras Plaid. That seems to go with the...
That's very true.
...look.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then, of course, I guess I should mention Reese Witherspoon has her store, Draper
She
James,
has a
here in Nashville.
line.
And, of course, there's online options to shop there as well, which is all very Southern inspired.
Yeah.
Lots of eyelet, like we were mentioning earlier.
Simple lined dresses that
like
are sweet.
Shirt dresses even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it looks like a collared shirt, but it's a full dress.
Mm-hmm.
She's got all kinds of quintessential
And she
Southern
loves
looks.
to, put y'all on things
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Dolly on things.
Yes.
What would Dolly do?
What would
She
Dolly
has different
do?
little things like that are...
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's-
that's kind of in a nutshell.
There it is. And big hair.
Big hair.
And sometimes
for
we
sure.
can't even help it. Like, it's as humid as it's getting right now, like our hair being so thick, like
Yeah.
it's starting to rise up. And
There's a Pinterest. I don't do Pinterest a lot, so I'm not super savvy with the words, but I don't know. Do you say that you follow somebody on
Sure,
Pinterest?
yeah,
Okay. That's called Southern Curls and Pearls.
stop. Okay.
And even that name cracked me up because I'm like, curls are big and pearls are big.
Yes, they are.
We're going to get into jewelry, so I wasn't going to mention pearls.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Southern Curls and Pearls. I'm like, that's quintessential
Yeah.
Southern beauty.
Yeah. That really is. And Kendra Scott is a Texan that's got jewelry
Yes,
out now
yes.
that's really, really popular. And there's tons of Kendra Scott stores all over. But
Yeah.
it's big.
Yeah.
It's that Texas big statement jewelry. So, okay, let's talk about the guys.
I think there is some great fashion for men
Yeah?
that you see in the South.
Like what?
I love the tailored shirts.
Yeah.
There's a company that I really like that does men's shirts called Leadberry. They're
Okay.
out of Richmond, Virginia. And I just think they do men's clothing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, if somebody goes on that website and they go, whoa, that's expensive.
Yeah.
It is. I'll go ahead and tell you that it is. And I don't shop for men very much. And so it's
Is there
not
a
like I'm
clearance
buying
tab?
these blazers a lot.
Yeah.
But wow, they look good.
Yeah.
And they, do look a little more tailored. The fabrics are really nice. So maybe if you want to have just a few pieces in your wardrobe that look really good, check Leadberry out and see what you think.
Yeah.
I really like their things. You want to go or you want
Yeah,
me to go?
well, I would say, again, preppy, I would say, for the most part. Very open to accessorize.
Okay.
More-
Pocket square
More
or
than,
something, maybe.
more than maybe some other pockets of the nation. So, fedora.
You do see that.
That
Like,
could be an option. Seersucker, bow ties, Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Yeah. I wrote seersucker and linen because, again, it's hot. And
Yeah.
that's what those fabrics are made for, to breathe.
Yeah.
And so you see that a lot.
Yeah.
Down here where it's hot.
Where it's hot.
Bow ties. I'm not necessarily always a fan of that, but you do see a lot of bow ties with those linen
Yeah.
and seersucker suits because they have the fun color and it's just a little touch.
Exactly.
Not like a huge statement.
And the other fun thing here is the influence of the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that you see even a man dressed formally integrate that in. So, like a bow tie with his team colors.
Yes.
Very acceptable.
That's
and,
cute, yeah.
Really cute here. So, and even socks that have, like, team colors. Like, it's funny the way that a man dressed formally
Can have
sometimes
a pop of fun
has
with
the
his
pop of-
sock.
Yes, that's exactly
And
it.
so, I was going to mention that company, Southern Socks.
Yes.
So they have different, like, things you can look up by state, where they'll have the state teams.
Yes.
But they also have, like, horse racing themed socks
Yeah.
and different ones, bourbon
Yes.
themed socks, different things like that.
They do the y'all shirt that I mentioned
Okay,
on
yeah,
the previous
yeah.
one
That's-
that looks
yeah.
like Yale, but
That's
it's
right.
y'all. Yeah,
I think they might have those socks too, but all kinds of cute things.
they make, Southern Socks is great.
What about white bucks?
What
Guys
is
wearing
that?
white bucks.
Is that like duckies shoes? What
they're usually like kind of like a suede. you'll know what it is when you see it.
Okay.
But that's kind of big in the South, white bucks.
Okay.
That would be something you would kind of have on with like a linen suit, or you might see.
Is it shoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
you know what I'm
not necessarily pushing for that. I like a darker shoe than that.
But do you know what I'm talking about? Ducky's shoes from 16
They're not like
Candles.
that,
Okay.
Because those are, they're not quite like that. But they are shaped to a,
pink.
His are really pointed and kind of weird.
Yeah. And
these
dirty.
are not like that.
Okay.
But,
I'll have to look up white bucks.
But I like a darker shoe than that.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
And I love, different than cowboy boots, I love those paddock boots that are more like, they're still ankle high, but they're more like cool leather.
Yes.
Maybe a Fry paddock boot or something like that. Is Fry a Texas company? I feel like they are.
If they're not, they should be. It feels like they should be, for sure.
Love their leather.
We need a fact checker, because sometimes we just
totally
loosely throw it out. I'm like, that's probably right.
I know.
It's got to be true.
Mess something up. And I don't like giving false information. So, another company I was going to mention, just because he's legitimately nationwide designer for men, is Billy Reed, who's out of Florence, Alabama. And it's just funny to me because Florence is such a small town. So to think of somebody being fashion designer
is very small. Yeah.
Is, Florence, Italy may know about Billy Reed,
That's
not
crazy.
just Florence, Alabama. So anyway, again, expensive stuff, but
you know what that reminds me of too? I mean, not as accessible to the public because it's not how most public dress, but that Manuel.
Oh, yeah.
That is the designer.
The rhinestone.
He's, when you think of
Porter Wagner and
Elvis Presley.
Elvis. He's dressed a lot of those with those studded jackets.
And he's still here. I mean, he's still working and living in Nashville. And
do you remember when we went to a celebration of his place?
Yeah.
And I got some pictures of you wearing it because I had my camera and we were taking pictures. That was fun.
I mean, they're super cool, but literally, who could wear that except if you're getting on a stage.
On the stage of the Grand Ole Opry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about standing out in a crowd. Yeah.
And we've had some Southern music artists that have set the tone for their own style. I mean, if you think of Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton, some of our epic, women singers or Elvis.
That's true.
And
that's true.
That hairstyle got popular after Elvis. That was popular in his day.
Yeah, I really didn't even think too much about all of the influence on fashion that we get from musicians.
Yeah.
And it makes sense if you're standing there watching an artist that you love, you may want to take on some of their fashion sense as well. And I mean, that happens in any genre or in any area. So that's funny to think about. I hadn't thought about that.
But you were mentioning preppy was big, but I think you also see the flip side of that with like the more, rodeo crowd.
Exactly.
Or people that are literally, in and out of a barn.
Yeah.
They're going to have on, maybe some rubber shoes or things that are, hardy for mud or, again, those Carhartt clothes or different things like that.
Chaps, nudies. Nudies are the cover things for your
pants. I'm like, what?
That's why that place, that honky tonk, is called.
That's right.
Nudies. It's not.
That's right. It's not
anything vulgar.
It's
cowboy wear.
Right.
I didn't know that till recently, so I'm just passing that on to everyone here. Well, anything else about the gents that you would say before we talk jewels?
I just love a nicely dressed Southern gentleman.
That's right.
I'm a fan of that tailored, wonderful linen look, and and
it'll get you into places. You just there is that rule of thumb that says dress nice. You never know what opportunity might come your way. So
that's right. I tried to teach you that, didn't I?
Yes.
And do you remember? It's worked a few times.
It has. We've gotten some great opportunities because preferred seating at places or
that kind of stuff. Whether it should or shouldn't, it matters sometimes. So,
well, a friend of mine here in Franklin, give a shout out to Julie Walton Garland. Her family business, Walton's Jewelry, here in Franklin, is just a fantastic shop to both peruse for yourself or just to enjoy some of the collection that they have. And
it's just fun to go in there and see what they have.
Yeah.
Mint julep cups and artwork. Like, they have a variety of things.
Yeah. So Julie's done a great job, I think, in terms of making antique jewelry accessible and for price points and cool for a younger generation. And so, anyway, just, love her and wanted her to sort of speak into what does she think of, since she's the third generation, manager of the family business. So I asked her, like, when I say Southern jewelry, what are some things that come to mind? And she said, first thing that comes to mind are pearls. Every good Southern woman has a strand of pearls, usually a necklace. Mm-hmm. But pearl stud earrings seem to be a rite of passage for a lot of young women heading off to college, specifically if they're going to a Southern school. Uh-huh. So that was her first.
Oh, and we didn't get into sorority rush, but at some of these schools, Lord have mercy.
The fashion.
I know. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah. That's like also needed in your student loans is your wardrobe loans for rush week. And then also, she said, I also feel like every person that comes in the store has inherited their grandmother's cameo brooch.
Yes.
And that seems to be a Southern inheritance staple. We've got some pictures of...
Yeah, I have a friend named Kay who has many cameos. Well, she's just got a lot of beautiful jewelry. So I asked her, hey, will you bring maybe 4 or 5 of them in and let me just take a picture? So we'll have to put that up for some people to see. A variety of styles.
Yeah.
She even had way more, but I'm like, that's enough just to give me a little sampling of a few different ones.
So that would be like, it kind of looks Victorian, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a profile of a woman, or is it always a woman?
I'm not sure. That's a great question. All of hers were that she brought in, and I think of it as a woman.
Okay.
But that's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they're even called cameos if it's like a laurel, or it can be other things then. I think that would still be considered a cameo if it's that style of jewelry. And you can pin it or you can put it on a necklace.
Yeah.
Like some of them are such that you can wear it on a necklace. But anyway, that seems Southern.
So that is definitely, I feel like, a piece, even if you've got it, in your jewelry, that you have to, even almost set out to remember to use. Because it can be added to, various different, outfits and fashions. But I feel like it's one that is easily forgotten, too. So, anyway, those were just some of the things. You had mentioned a while back the, add a pearl, or what was it?
Right, yeah. There's the concept of an add a pearl necklace where to build to a strand by the time somebody's 18 or something.
Because pearls are expensive.
Yeah, so a full set of pearls can be pretty expensive to buy in one chunk. But if you, each birthday, each Christmas, we're just buying one and adding it to the necklace as you go.
Yeah.
That's a little bit easier way to get to a full strand by the time the girl's going away to college or something.
Yeah. So that's fun. I like that because I think that also makes it so that multiple people could contribute as well. You wouldn't have to only be getting your, add a pearl from your aunt or from a mother, or, there could be other people that knew you were building your strand, per se.
Well, and there's also that piece of, what do you give somebody that's turning 4, turning 5, turning 6? Do they need another toy? Do they need another? So you're kind of investing in something that would be nice to have later instead of
that's
another
cool.
trinket. But.
That's cool. I like that. Well, as we have mentioned before, we love to hold on to traditions and the good of the South. So I do hope some of these pieces we've talked about today stay in rotation. I don't see too many of them phasing out. In fact, the only ones that I would hope would phase out would be the Daisy Duke shorts.
That can go.
Yeah. If those need to, slowly decline, that would be fine by me. But I think for the most part, don't you?
Yeah.
That these are tried and true elements that are still
They're classics.
Still fashionable,
Yeah.
and still staying in rotation. So, anyway, well, we hope that inspires you to maybe freshen some things out in your wardrobe. Bring some of those old jewelry pieces back up to the
bring them
front
out.
and wear those with your finest and your Sunday best, as I always say on here. So,
or even if you're thinking of a gift for Father's Day or a gift for something, maybe think like, oh, do I need to look at the old, the classics?
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks again to all of you guys that have already subscribed. And if you haven't, go ahead and hit that purple subscribe button. That will allow you to get a notification every time we have a new episode that goes live. And we've got some really fun things coming up this summer, so you will not want to miss even a single week of it.
That's right. And do those reviews if you don't mind. We'd love a good review from you. That helps us in this whole, is it analog? Or no, what's the word?
That's a good question. Logarithm? No. Oh boy. I don't know.
We don't know. So we need you to do it because it helps. I can't even remember the word. Algorithm. What in the world is analog? Anyway.
I almost said logarithm.
And the fact that I'm even talking about this is hilarious. But algorithm is more than I understand. But I do know in order for people to find us, we need more reviews.
That's right.
So,
yes.
Please do that for us.
Tell a friend and share it on all your socials. All right, guys. We'll see you here next time. Bye.